Hey Sam, Happy New Year and happy birthday. Long time no video for me, but it's a new year. I'm a new age. I don't know if you also have that thing about being like a Januarian, that the new year is like especially important because it's like not just a new year, you're also a new age. So it really does feel like new year, new me every time. And I have a new camera. I got a Canon Rebel. I bought it over Christmas holidays when Canon was running sales, and I'm really excited about it. Other than my reading resolution, my other resolution is to get back into photography, so I'm really excited about everything I'm going to do this year. So for my first video of 2017, I'm going to talk about the best books I read in 2016. Some of them I have with me and some I don't, so I'm going to start with the ones that I can actually show you physically. So first off, this book is The Lathe of Heaven by Ursula Le Guin. And this was the very first book I read in 2016. My dad got this for me for Christmas of 2015. He really recommended this book to me, partially because Ursula Le Guin is a Portland writer and we're from Portland, so it's just kind of, she's like just really big. I think she's big everywhere, but she's especially big in the Pacific Northwest and in Portland because we kind of have a claim to her. Anyway, this book was really fascinating to me because it takes place in a futuristic post-apocalyptic Portland. So it was written in the 70s, and it's supposed to take place in, I think, like the late 90s, 2000s. So it's like a futuristic novel about a time that now has already passed, but it's like a post-apocalyptic version of my hometown. So I just found the location and setting and all those descriptions fascinating, because it's locations that I'm familiar with, but they're like changed in this crazy way, and just the way that it describes like the city and like the whole state I just thought was really interesting. This book is kind of about aliens. Essentially the main character can change reality by just thinking of a new thing, but he's the only one who is aware that the whole reality has changed, and the story is about that. I really love this book. I want to read more Ursula Le Guin this next year, and Sam, I think this is the kind of book you'd really like. So next I read Slaughterhouse 5. This is a collection of 3 books by Vonnegut. This collection has Cat's Cradle, Slaughterhouse 5, and Breakfast of Champions, and this is another book that my dad got me last Christmas. I had never read any Vonnegut before, and I read Slaughterhouse 5 and Breakfast of Champions. I did not get to Cat's Cradle. Maybe this year I will do that. Anyway, Slaughterhouse 5 is this book that everyone has read, and I somehow had never read it. I didn't have to read it in high school, so I was really glad to finally read it, and I really enjoyed it. So next, this is The Price of Salt by Patricia Highsmith. This is the book that the film Carol is based on. So I saw Carol in early 2016 and adored it, and after I saw the movie I went out and bought this book, and I loved it. I thought the movie was very true to this book. Obviously the book goes in a lot more detail, a lot more like character backstory, and you get a lot more of that, but I loved the movie, I love the book, and I think anyone who's a fan of the movie would like the book. So yeah. And then the last one that I actually have with me is Mama Day by Gloria Naylor. And this book I actually read in high school, junior year, in IB English, and I adored it. And then last spring I found it, my library was doing a sale and selling a bunch of books for like 50 cents or $1, and I found this in one of the buckets in the library that they were selling, and it all just came back to me how much I love this book. So I was really excited to read it again, and it was just as fantastic as I remembered, maybe even better. It really does feel like the kind of book that I can kind of like grow with and like continue to get better as I get older. Anyway, it is kind of a retelling of The Tempest, and it takes place between New York City and an island off the coast of Georgia and South Carolina, and it's about a girl from that island who has moved to New York City, but she comes back to that island, which is called Willow Springs, every year in August and stays for 2 weeks, and it's kind of, the story goes through several years, and it just kind of tells this fascinating, heartbreaking, beautiful story, and I love it. So that's all for books that I actually have with me on hand. But there are a lot of other books I read in 2016 that I want to talk about. So One of them was Wild. I ended up reading this book because I wanted to see the movie and I thought I should read the book first. The movie is shot partially in the town I go to school in, so once I moved here, it made me really want to see the movie. So I read the book and it was really good. I'm kind of weirdly fascinated with long distance hiking, probably because I see it as something that is like impossible for me to do. But I think it's really interesting and I really like learning about the culture of it, and I really enjoyed the book. So next, I read Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. This story takes place in Savannah, Georgia in the 1980s, and it is a novelization of a real crime story that happened at that time there. So I thought this book was fascinating because it's a real story and all these characters are real people, but this is like a novelized telling of it. So as you read it, it just reads like a novel, but it's all true. So I thought it was really cool. Where I've been to Savannah and I thought it was like a fascinating, really cool city. So to read a book that took place there I thought was really cool. And then I read a book called These Shallow Graves by Jennifer Donnelly. This is a YA book. And it's kind of historical fiction. It takes place, if I remember correctly, in the late 1800s, and it's in New York City. And the main character is kind of a wealthy, privileged girl, teenager, whose father dies unexpectedly, and it's believed to have been an accident, but she starts to realize that there's something deeper going on here. And so the story is kind of about her trying to solve this mystery of her father's death, and in the meantime, like, you know, kind of becoming less sheltered and being more aware of like the world around her. And I loved this book. I think it's like one of the only YA books I read this year. I don't really follow YA anymore at this point, but every once in a while there's a book that I'm like, yes, I really want to read this, and this was one of them. So lastly, the very last book that I read in 2016 was The Princess Diarist by Carrie Fisher. And my friend bought me this book for my birthday, and it came in the mail to me the morning after Carrie Fisher died, and that in itself was just like heartbreaking, but also just like incredibly perfect timing because I was pretty shattered after Carrie Fisher died, and so I just immediately wanted to dive into this book. I've been meaning to read Carrie Fisher's work for years. I have checked her books out at the library in the past and then not gotten to them, so it sucks that I had to wait until she was gone to start reading her books, but I'm really glad that I finally started reading them, and I'm gonna continue to read her work. She's really funny, she's really good with words. It was a real delight to read her book, honestly, and I'm really excited that you have it. I think you're gonna love it, and then we can talk about it. That's all for me right now. I will hopefully make another video soon. I want to make a video about books I'm planning to read in 2017, so expect that from me in the near future, and until then, I'll see you soon.